All right, fam. So I wanted to come on here and make a quick video sharing all of the key things I think you need to know about this Pisces supermoon lunar eclipse. So let's start number one. What is a lunar eclipse and how do you work with it? So a lunar eclipse always happens at a full moon, and it's when the shadow of the Earth basically passes right in front of the moon and the sun and darkens the moon, the beautiful side of the moon that we see just a little bit. So it's a very intense full moon. It's a supermoon this time, which means that the moon is actually closer to the planet Earth right now. So we will feel more of a gravitational, intense, emotional impact of this particular full moon. And so the moon gets a little bit darker during a lunar eclipse. Sometimes it goes blood red. It's not going to happen during this one. It's only a partial eclipse. But think about an eclipse like turning your computer off and then turning it back on, or restarting your computer. What happens? Well, it's a reset. There's something that ends, a process gets interrupted, and then comes back online and restarts. So it's quite different with the sun and with the moon. So with the moon, think about your body, your emotional patterns. So I'm really approaching this particular lunar eclipse as a great opportunity for purification and to reset emotional patterns, karmic patterns. Why? Because it's happening in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is like the ocean. It's this flowing, watery energy that can morph and shift into everything. It's all empathetic and compassionate and kind of merges with existence, right? You know, Pisces people, if you're a Pisces or if you have close Pisces friends, you know Pisces, it just kind of merges and blends with whatever it's around, right? Very emotional, it can be very sensitive, but also weaves in very strongly the archetype of our dreams. And probably the key word that I'm going to really focus on with this particular lunar eclipse is imagination. That is because not only is it in Pisces, but it's very close to the planet Neptune, aka Poseidon, the god of the sea, of horses, of, tsunamis and earthquakes. And back in the day, Poseidon had a kind of intense reputation because he was so powerful, such a force of nature. And so now we associate Neptune, all the Neptunian things of mysticism, psychic experiences, the dream world, psychedelics, merging with the divine, tantra. But also on the shadowy side, that's really things that are really going to come up with this eclipse are addictions, delusion, illusion, like fantasy in a negative sense, and deception. So these are some keywords that are really associated with this particular eclipse. So it's happening tonight, 10:11 p.m. East Coast time, and today is Tuesday the 17th. So some other big keys, I want to get in a moment to like specific practices that you can do during the eclipse if you happen to watch this in time, or even in the days to follow, how to really pay attention, how to focus, and what to really watch out for, what to be aware of in the days that follow. Because eclipse time, eclipse season is a very heightened, potent energy where we can really rise into a new level of consciousness, like muster all of your free will and steer your life in a new direction. There's the tremendous opportunity. Depending on how you relate to the intense energy. And I would imagine if you're watching this, in the past couple days, maybe especially today, you're feeling something. This one is a little murky. If you're feeling a little blah, little bleh, little blur, all these things, that's Pisces Neptune energy. It's very non-clear. It's very non-linear, non-logical. It can be very emotional. So you may be feeling extra emotional or just a little confused, a little aimless, maybe a little tired, low energy, a little funky, crazy dreams, all of these kinds of things with this particular lunar eclipse. So the key themes that I'm going to recommend that you really pay attention to, and you can potentially really connect with during the eclipse or, in these days to follow, Number one is connection with spirit. There's a great opening and opportunity. You can think about it kind of like Halloween, where the veil is very thin. This full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces presents a great opportunity to merge and to connect with spirit. So whether that's your spirit guides, ancestors, any deities you connect with, any beloveds on the other side, light a candle, sit at your altar, meditate, tune in, have a shamanic journey, flip on a drumming track, and, see if you can enter into an altered state of consciousness to connect with the spirit realm. Another big key of this particular eclipse is about addiction. So this is one of the really, I would say, the biggest opportunities for us to overcome karmic emotional patterns. So it goes something like this. Both Neptune and Pisces are mixed up with the archetype of addiction and escapism, right? And that goes both ways. Like, part of that archetype wants to merge and blend with the divine, with God, with spirit, with something greater than itself. But in the shadow, that looks like, escaping your reality, escaping how you feel, escaping trauma, escaping pain through alcoholism, drugs, substances, sex addiction. The big one right now all over the world is, smartphones. Right? And the bajillion kind of distractions, social media, everything that you can fall into with the doom scroll and all of that. But this could be Netflix, binge watching things. This could be food. This could be really anything. So pay attention these days. What is coming up? Has there anything been triggered or activated for you in terms of emotions that kind of make you want to escape, that make you want to leave your current situation, find another distraction, go to that addiction, go to that comfort zone, that safe space that you typically have? What's coming up? Because this eclipse is really provoking the opportunity for you to see it. Because the full moon is about clarity, it's about vision. You can see the full moon clearly. The new moon, it's dark, you don't see it. The full moon, it's totally illuminated. With the eclipse, there's an opportunity to reset, to start anew. So if you have any addiction that has just got you by the balls, or you just totally don't have control, or you're wanting help and you're not sure what to do, now is a wonderful time to get really clear, write it down, reach out for support, for help from a friend, from a beloved, from a family member, to a rehab center, to anything, any support, because it's a powerful time to see yourself, to see the addiction, to see the patterns of escapism, and to reset that, to rewire some new pathways or habits in your life. So that's a big, big, big opportunity, I would say, with this particular eclipse. The other thing, of course, is both with Pisces and with Neptune is the ocean, bodies of water, rivers, seas, lakes, things like that. I would say probably coming up in the news, pay attention to water things, also water-related events. We're already seeing this huge flooding that's happening in Europe. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more water, earth events, could be mudslides, could be tsunamis, could be flooding, things like that. Pay attention to what's happening with the waters. It's also a really useful time for a personal practice to do a water blessing. Go to a body of water and make a blessing, make an offering, give thanks. One of my favorite things to do during a Poseidon, Neptune potent time is to go to Virginia Beach and go check out the Neptune statue. There's an enormous, huge, 2-3 story statue of Neptune, and to make offerings to Neptune. So before the eclipse, it's recommended what I would recommend is to really cleanse, to purify. During the eclipse, I would really recommend not to do any major intention setting or any magic or any really activation of trying to set things into a new motion. The thing is, during an eclipse, the life force energy is a little bit dampened. right? And it's especially true during a solar eclipse. But there's a lot of lores and mythologies and traditions of not even looking at an eclipse, because there's like a decrease of energy. And so I wouldn't recommend sending any major energy into motion during the eclipse. Personally, what I'm going to do is listen to some mantras of purification, meditate, breathe, relax, tune into the energy. One of the other really powerful opportunities that this particular eclipse presents is divination, is that blending between worlds. And so divination, like astrology, like tarot, runes, any form of connection with the spirit world to receive clarity and answers, this is a great opportunity to do some divination. So if you got your oracle cards, if you got tarot, if you have any practice like that, do a card pull around this time of eclipse. Then after the eclipse is a great time, meaning later tonight or, in the days following the eclipse, to really get on the train of releasing, of purifying, of what it is that you want to let go, and work that, move energy, get rid of things, let go of things, take some action to move that along. So I actually wanted to, since we are on this theme here of divination, I wanted to do a few card pulls for you. Okay, what I'm going to do is draw 3 cards, okay, and the 3 cards are going to represent 3 very distinct and specific archetypes for what you should focus on, but you're going to pick one. Okay, so I'm going to draw 3 cards, and there's going to be 3 different options. So this is where the divination comes in. You are going to need to select, and you and I are now like weaving together with the universe, and when you have 2 people gathered together in the name, we are connecting through time and space in a more powerful way. So these cards are going to represent the big themes to focus on, to contemplate for you during and after this Pisces Neptune lunar eclipse, okay? So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to fan the cards out, and I'm going to draw 3 cards, okay? So here's number 1, okay? Here's number 2, okay? And here's number 3. So you choose right now. Is it 1, 2, or 3 that you're picking that is going to represent your divination? 1, 2, or 3. Well, I can see them right now, but you tell me. Choose right now. 1, 2, 3. What is it? Pick. Have you got it? Okay. So now let's talk about it. If you chose number 1, if you haven't chosen, you can choose right now, because we about to go. The train's moving. Okay. If you chose number 1, Queen of Swords. So this eclipse for you is about clarity, is about focus, is about decision making, is about making up your mind and what it is that you're going to do. What is the path? And this is also, you see, is a very empowered woman. She is telling people like it is. Otherwise, she'll chop their head off. Right? So this archetype, clear with your words, strong with your words. Maybe there's boundaries that need to be asserted or set, but very much clearly defined in your power for the future. Okay, if you chose number 2, it's the Justice card. All right, so this is really bringing up about balance. And this, I would say, really ties in beautifully with everything I've been talking about karmic patterns, your karma, your karmic history. What needs to come into balance in your life? And that can mean letting go of something, bringing something in. If you need to forgive, if you need to apologize, do you need to make amends anywhere in your life? Is there any unfinished business? What is out of balance in your life? What is unresolved? Okay? This is an indication that you need to really do some work, whether internal or external, to bring greater balance, justice, and fairness and equilibrium into your world. You see the scales? That's weighing, and then the sword is taking the action. Okay, last one. If you drew number 3, It's the Two of Pentacles. Okay. So look at these nice wavy waters in the background. So this could be, maybe you're overwhelmed, you got a lot going on, and similar to the Justice card, but quite different. You see, this guy is kind of juggling two different things and trying to bring balance. But this is more in the material plane. This is more about projects, about work, about finances. What is it that you are juggling or that you need to kind of bring back into a harmonious balance? And maybe that is like, I'm not going to focus on too many things at once because it's overwhelming me, it's stressing me out. I can't do this project, and this project all at the same time. So this is about really using your time, your energy, your resources wisely and in a balanced manner, okay? And so maybe there's two things really to focus on juggling, but don't get so tipped that you do get out of balance and start spinning around like this. So I hope this has been helpful. The final thing I will say is to really pay attention 3 days before, the day of, and 3 days after any eclipse. Pay attention. What seems to die, what ends, what seems to be born, what seems to come out of nowhere, and what seems to be going through a process of rebirth, a process of transformation and transmutation during those days, like what is getting a new skin, right? So these days, pay attention to that. And then in a few weeks, we'll have our solar eclipse. So we are heading into this in-between eclipse period where it's like heightened, it's very, you're constantly at the crossroads. So be wise, double down on your meditation, on your journaling, on all those contemplative practices, and choose wisely. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Please follow and subscribe if it was. And please also, if you have any other questions about this eclipse, or if you have any questions about the upcoming solar eclipse, then please let me know. You can comment and I'm going to make a video about that one. So, happy eclipsing.